Welcome to Holistic Wisdom Live. Today I have a very special guest, Sheila Gillette. Sheila Gillette has been a direct voice medium for Theo, a collective archangels group, since her near-death experience in 1969. Welcome, Sheila. Thank you so much for being here today.
Oh, Elena, it's just a great opportunity to meet you and to share Theo with your viewers and to have this opportunity to have a chat. Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you so much. You know, it's actually my first time. So for those that are watching, my first time ever interviewing a medium. And I've always wanted to do it. I'm so excited. And I'd love to hear your journey. If you can briefly describe what happened to you in 1969 to make you realize that you woke up or you awakened to all of those beautiful gifts that you're here to share with the world.
Well, in 1969, I did have a near-death experience after the birth of a child. I had pulmonary embolus, and both of my lungs were non-functional. They were full of fluid, and I couldn't breathe. I felt like an elephant sitting on my chest. And back then they didn't have ventilators like they do today, and a lot of the equipment. So I was in intensive care, and my family was being prepared that I wouldn't live through the day. And I had two little children at home, and I had a brand new baby, and I just said, hey, God, give me a job. I was totally aware of what was going on, and I knew if I closed my eyes, I wouldn't open them again. And so I just, like a mantra, I kept saying, please give me a job. I want to stay, I want to live, and I want to be the mother to my children. And that was like almost a mantra. I just kept thinking that over again. I wasn't speaking out loud. I was speaking internally. And the room became extremely bright, the cubicle in the intensive care. And I noticed a movement at the end of my bed. And when I focused on it, Jesus was standing at the end of my bed. Well, you can imagine. I was like, oh, wow, this is important. And he mesmerized me with his eyes, kind of. He had such gentle, beautiful hazel eyes, and there was so much love. I was a little overwhelmed, but curious. And he took his arms and he crossed them like this, and he had big, deep sleeves. And when he did that, he smiled. And when he smiled, I heard in my inner mind hearing, as we hear our own thoughts, I heard a distinct male voice say, remember, my child, you are loved. And at that moment, I just relaxed. I was just hanging on to life, just hanging on every moment. And I relaxed, and I felt as if my crown had opened up and some warmth had been poured in. I liken it to warm honey because we all know how that kind of gently seeps. But I felt this warmth go down through my body internally. And as it went through the trunk of my body, I felt like I could take a deep breath. Mm-hmm. Now, this is as clear to me today as it was in 1969. And I started getting better. And my doctors were amazed. I was in the hospital for a month. And then after I was out of the hospital, about 6 months after I was out of the hospital, I started having all kinds of psychic phenomena happening to me internally, externally. I could hear messages as I heard Jesus's voice that day. I could do automatic writing. I could do telekinesis. I could move objects with. I thought I was moving them with my mind, but maybe spirit was moving them. I'm not sure, but I felt empowered with that. And then one night, my bed levitated in the middle of the night. When spirit wanted to talk to me, the chair, if I was sitting in a chair, it would physically move and be shaken. So the angels wanted me to know that this wasn't something I was making up. So I had all of this physical stuff going on, as well as information being given me through automatic writing and the clairaudient information, the hearing of the messages. And then I tranced spontaneously. And this direct voice, angelic presence, started speaking directly through me. I was laying down like Edgar Cayce, and like I said, this happened spontaneously. And I was in a trance state because I'm very analytical and curious. So I think Spirit knew they needed to have me not present, have the information come, and then I would really know I had no control or interference in what was being given. So this was a form of communication that the angels decided upon for me. But over the years, because it's been 5 decades, it's evolved to now I'm standing, they're walking, they're using my body totally. But at first, they just came in the right side of my body, took over the body, but particularly the vocal cords so they could speak. And my body, my frequencies on a cellular level were being adjusted almost electrically to be able to have that meeting of vibrations so that they could speak through me. So it's been a process over all these years.
Wow. So when that started happening, the body was and vocal cords were taken over. How did that feel physically? Was it uncomfortable?
You know, it wasn't in the beginning because the first spokesman was an angel known as Orlos. They gave the name and told me that I'm going to use he for lack of a better term, but he told me that he was there to prepare me for higher teachers, to prepare my body, to prepare me, because he was really loving, really soft-spoken, not, he didn't scare me. Let me put it that way.
Okay.
I think that's the best way to say it. And just began teaching me what was happening, and information was coming. And I got all kinds of information about things I couldn't have possibly known. And one of the things was Watergate before we even knew about it, 2 years before, actually. And so I was being given this prophetic information as well, but daily things were being given me to confirm things I couldn't have known. So I started trusting. And then I was in Seattle meeting with a group, doing a group session. And Orlos said, it's time to leave. The higher teachers are here. And Theo came in very loud, very almost computer-like sounding. And very powerful. And what I felt when they came in really strongly, and there was a group of 30 people in the room, and they were like, whoa. And they said their name, they would be identified as Theo, they're 12 archangels. They would not identify singularly because the message is more important than the messenger. And they've never identified who the 12 are. I kind of think I know, but they've never confirmed or said, and they said they would not. And it began like that. People, after I came out of the trance, and people said, is your throat hurt? Because they were so loud.
Wow.
And so they have learned how to be more like us. So they're not frightening people, but the message has always been expanded and continues to be so, and one of love and empowerment to us as individual souls to be all we can be. So it's been a journey, and it's been an ongoing work in progress for me, because as I said, I was laying down like Edgar Casey. And I didn't know anybody doing this. So I didn't really have a mentor other than the angels. And there weren't a lot of books out about this. And I only found one, an Edgar Casey book, and I read it and I thought, oh, I'm doing what he's doing, you know? So it was like something that I could start to understand what was going on. But they've taught me all the way along. And then I did have the opportunity of having an invitation to go to a conference called Psychics and Scientists. And it was a conference with research scientists that were researching parapsychology and metaphysics at the University of Miami. And I don't know how I got that invitation. The angels sent it. So I had the opportunity to meet with some scientists, some physicists that were studying parapsychology and metaphysics, and I got tested for my psychic ability, which was great because it gave me kind of the good housekeeping seal of approval that you're not crazy, you're psychic. And so that was another event, and there have been many over the years.
Did they look at your brain? Did they do brain testing for you? Is that what some of the things
they did? They hooked me up to those electrodes.
Yes.
When I would go into the trance to see what state of consciousness I went to. And so that was interesting. We did, they tested me for clairvoyance. They tested me for remote viewing or extrasensory perception. They test me as a sender and a receiver of information telepathically. It was really fun. I really enjoyed doing it. And then to get the validation was an immense thing for me, because when I started, it was kind of crazy. People were afraid of this kind of thing. I didn't go into social situations and say, well, you know what I can do? Because it would have cleared the room, I'm sure. So it's been this 5-decade evolution of awakening. I've just seen waves of awakening. When I wrote my first book, The Fifth Dimension Channels to a New Reality, my publisher was Simon & Schuster, and Brian Weiss and I had the same editor at Simon & Schuster. So we were kind of the first guinea pigs of Simon & Schuster to go into this genre. And so that was they didn't know what to do with us. But it was great because they did publish our books. And now, over 50% of the books that are sold are personal growth and spiritual books. So it's an exciting time. Theo says this is a magnificent time to be alive for the consciousness shift that's happening.
Would you say a couple of things, that you have to absolutely raise your vibration to meet the guides, to meet Theo?
Yeah, I'm going to say yes to that, because not only is it a vibrational frequency of communication, it's physical. What happens to my body, I can only liken it to sticking your finger in a 220 outlet. I mean, it's a high energy charge. So my body had to calibrate to that on a cellular level. And when the first week that Theo was coming through, whenever they came in, when you hit your elbow, how uncomfortable that is and how it just radiates out through your body. That's how it felt. And my whole upper body felt that. And I said to him, if this is going to continue, I can't do this. It was so uncomfortable. And they said, oh, no, it's just, you'll calibrate to it. So that it's just been fine-tuned truly over the years, that every once in a while I get a tune up.
Yeah.
But it's all inside, so nobody sees it externally. I know some people who channel have some physical things that go on with their body. I didn't have it external like that. It was all internal in my nervous system.
So it's probably very important to take care, really good care of your physical health on a daily basis to keep your vessel
Yes.
very clean, to be able to
Well,
handle.
yeah, I live a normal life. I do pay attention. I do good physical maintenance. I'm really healthy. I I don't take medication. And I believe doing this work keeps me healthy. And I ask Theo to give me energy every time I invite them in, for them to balance my energy, which they do, thankfully. But they do assist me. But I do good maintenance for
Yeah.
sure.
Yes. All right. Well, thank you for sharing your journey. Perhaps now we can invite Theo to come through.
Yes. And it takes just a moment.
Yes.
I close my eyes, take a couple of deep breaths, and then I invite Theo in, and they'll come in and they'll speak first
Okay.
and invite you to ask. So here we go. It is the beginning, is it not?
Thank you so much, Theo, for coming here and for allowing for this experience to take place today.
We are appreciative of the opportunity to serve you. You may ask.
Yes. Many questions to ask. We'll start with the first one. What would you say for human beings, because that is one of the biggest questions, the purpose of life?
The purpose of life is life itself. You have incarnated into a physical form that is your earth suit to navigate this beautiful planet, to be in this atmosphere, but your soul is much larger than your body. It inhabits every cell of your body by choice. The soul is what gives the brain life itself. As it is known that you have the ability to maintain the body on machinery when the soul has left it or transitioned, as you say. But the brain cannot be kept alive in that manner. It is the soul, when leaving the body, does not allow the functionality of the brain. So what occurs is a recognition that there is more to the body than just its organs and functions and nervous system. The soul gives it life. And you, being embodied, and we're speaking of the species, the human species chooses to incarnate. It is not forced to, it is choice. And a desire by many souls to have a body. So we say unto you, you're lucky. You asked and came and you got a body. And we encourage each to love this body. It is magnificent. And it gives you the opportunity to be on this planet and to learn what your soul's desired learning is to be. You may ask.
Yes, thank you for confirming that. There's this big narrative happening on the planet at the moment that we are, and you just confirmed that we are forced to be here. We're trapped in this matrix, that it is not, there's no free will that's coming into play. And I wanted to see if you can expand on that, although you just confirmed that we do come here and it is a choice. What is your perspective on the matrix itself, perhaps the simulation, and maybe we can expand on that as well.
So, of course, there are those that want to define it in such a way and want science to affirm what we speak theoretically. It's not theory, it's truth. And what's happening is science is confirming what we are saying now because they're exploring it. However, understand this, most put onto God, if you would, force, source, all the responsibility of their lives. And we would encourage you to know that you have chosen this incarnation for life itself on earth to learn emotions and to experience what you experience in a human body. You have all your sensory perceptors that you can intuit and have great intuitive gifts, but you can love and be loved. You can feel touch. You can touch and be touched. It is magnificent to be in a body as you are. But most, when they have these belief systems, feel victimized, that they're a victim of life. Life is lived through you and for you, not to you. You are master creators and you have created your life. Many speak to us of that law of attraction or the law of manifestation, and it's not working. It's working perfectly. Always. It is just as you have electricity all the way around you. You just turn on a light switch to know it's working. The universal field is always working as well. It surrounds you as well. And it works on decision. It's not just the good thoughts, the prayers, the affirmations. It's on decision. When one makes a decision with no doubt, the universal energy aligns with it to bring whatever is necessary for the outcome desired. So you have what you have in your lives by the way you think and speak. Thoughts and words are things, creative energy. So we inspire you to change your minds, lay new neural pathways of possibility thinking rather than the victimized thinking that we're talking about. You're not victims. You are creators. You may ask.
Yes, thank you. How many realities does the soul, I would say multiverses, does the soul play out? And by playing out different realities, do we play out for the best probable outcome of whatever is meant to happen?
That's why you come into body, to do such, yes. But you are a multidimensional being. You're larger than this physical existence. And there are 12 dimensions about the earth in which you are connected to. You are now living in your humanness, in your physical reality in the 5th dimension. And the 6th will also be experienced physically. The others are etheric dimensions of knowing and learning and vibration, which you'll be aligned with. And that's part of enlightenment. When you're seeking that sense of well-being and empowerment, that you will understand that you're mastered souls, not victimized in any way, that you are powerful creators, and you will live that out in the 6th dimension. The 5th is a realization of that.
Thank you for that. As far as a physical body, I wanted to see, because some human beings experience severe physical symptoms when there are solar flares, geomagnetic storms. And I wanted to know, why is it that certain individuals, including myself, feel it so strongly, and others don't feel anything at all? What is it related to?
It depends on your alignment to your universe. Some call it astrology, but there is energy in that is specific to your particular structures and dependent upon the refinement of your own energies and how you learn how to care for the physical body so that you're not at the effect of these energies, so that you know how to manage your physical structure so that it is not reactive, let's say, to those situations and circumstances, because they happen. There are many who, as the weather changes, the atmospheric pressures change, have symptoms as well. So it is learning that about yourself. Listen to your body. It will speak to you. It will tell you what's going on, as you know, in your own life, how to connect and listen to what the body has to tell you. Many seek outside themselves others to tell them what their body is doing. And they cannot. It's a guess from what they tell them about the body. But you live in your body. You are vibrating in that body. Your soul is there to inform you. So listen and speak it out. When you employ a health team, practitioners that are there to assist you to have optimum health, talk to them, collaborate with them so that they can use their knowledge and abilities at their highest demands.
So based on some of the findings in our work, we have discovered that some people are not here to experience higher frequencies and are fully aligned with their divine purpose. For them, increasing their frequency does not equate to more abundance. Many are in high positions of power and wealth. Can you please expand on that?
There have been those paradigms in your human existence for thousands of years, not just now. But that's what's changing in this time of consciousness shift, of which we've been speaking about for 5 decades. All the chaos that you see in your world today is for this change to come about. Each and every one of you has chosen to be here for this shift of consciousness. Some have called it a second coming. It's not a second coming of an individual. It is an energy alignment and higher frequency in which you all align to, if so chosen to do so on your soul's path, with the implementation and the birth of this new world that is birthing in and through all of you now. You are a global species, so you will have a global home. You are not separated by imaginary lines. That's just something of a construct that the old thinking and the old ways of being created. Now there's new creation coming to fruition, and you are a collaborative species, not competitive. You compete in sports, of course, and those things, but in life itself, you all want the same. And the majority of you want it for each other. As you know, with the technology you have of this day, you have the ability to communicate globally in an instant. You have the ability to see where your brothers and sisters are in harm's way or have been in a cataclysmic event. And what is the first response for most? Compassion. What can I do? How can I help? Yes? The feeling of those in peril. So that is an indication that you as a species can love unconditionally. That's an example of it. And it matters not the color of the skin or the language that is spoken or the place where you reside. You are one. And those who have been controlling and denser as you spoke in your words will not last long. For those old paradigms and ways of being on this planet will no longer work. new structures, new innovative businesses, industry, alignment with the planet. The planet will be here longer than any of the beings on it now and beyond. It's how you live with, in concert with the planet and each other. And that is what is changing.
There is a new generation that is being born at this time. It's called the Alpha generation. And based on our investigation and testing, they are the highest frequency beings that are incarnating at this moment. And from the research that we've done, they are the ones that are going to be contributing to this higher frequency of the human consciousness that is supposed to take place between the year of 2045 and 2046. Is there anything that you can expand on related to those 2 years, the consciousness shift for the collective, the years 2045, 2046?
It's already happening.
Mm-hmm.
There's a culmination in that timing, but it began over 100 years ago, the fifth dimension being in place above this planet. And that culminating in its full energy in 2012. And it is true that those coming into embodiment upon this planet are of high frequency and intention of living in the new world that's being birthed now. And so that is true as this comes to fruition. And you're already seeing that those that are embodied now in younger bodies, many are very bright and highly intelligent, and you give them labels. Autism spectrum, Asperger's, labels, because they're different. What needs to change is your educational system to accommodate their brilliance. Each being on this planet learns in a specific way to them, to their soul. And there are two very prominent ways: auditory and visual. There are auditory learners and should have the ability to learn with auditory teachers, meaning whether it's recorded, however that they, or spoken, lectures, information given auditorily. And those who are very visual, read, see visions, have books, pictures. It's not that the two cannot blend and will, but the prominent one must be addressed in your educational system for all. And you work with this in your work and will come with solutions that are natural and support the physicality in this process, which is excellent. But these are the changes: economic solidification as a global economy, political strength, such as your United Nations, only stronger and more and collaborative. The political structure changing dramatically now, as you can see throughout the world, by the people saying, no, no, you cannot do this any longer. It's just a few, actually, that wish to control and manipulate. And the mass, all of you, the human species that is one, will stand up for the ability to live in this new environment in a creative way and collaborative way. The arts and the sciences are a bridge as well to the different parts of the world in a collaborative way. And so you will have peace on your planet as individuals do the integrative process, that they align with that unconditional love of their soul and live from that, not the beliefs of not being worthy or enough, and limited in any way.
Mm.
You may ask?
Yes. I wanted to look into the new emerging science of the biofield. The biofield, as we know, is a record keeper of all the event situations that occur. At what point will the science acknowledge this new emerging field of the biofield? Looking
It's
into health
beginning.
fields. Mm-hmm.
It's in its birthing stages now. And it is true. It's the biofield, you can call it the Akashic records as well. It is all combined on a soul level of frequency of understanding. And many seek in the Akashic records, like a library that you go to and take a book away. It's not like that at all. It's in what you call the biofield. The cellular structure of your body holds all that vibration and knowledge. And can be tapped into. That's why we speak of listening to your body. It's your oversoul, your higher self. It's inside of you. It's from the inside out that you gain the information that you need.
Mm. Could you please define higher self?
It's the oversoul. We give words that have been spoken before because we want you to understand what we're speaking. And vocabularies, whatever language that you speak, are limited to explain what we're trying to explain about you and your experience in a way that's understandable in your humanness. So what we can speak to is that the soul, and you can feel this, we would encourage you, if you stretch your arms out from extended from your shoulder, and you envision your soul radiating out from your heart and out from your fingertips and from the heart center from the back, you can feel your energy touch the walls opposite. You can feel that. Or you can take your hands, put them together, and then begin to feel the energy between them. So that can express, you can feel and know that's your soul energy, that's your vibration that emanates all around you and can be extended and retracted by you at any time. You have that power. And that's how you connect through the world, through the heart. The heart center is the seat of the soul. Mm-hmm. And so we would encourage an experimentation individually. Test that out for yourself so that you have personal experience. Know that your soul draws the truth to you. Mm-hmm. So your higher self, your oversoul, is all the multidimensional aspects of who you are. And what will happen now in this time of evolution is that you have the ability to tap into that knowledge. There would be some spontaneous recall of events in other lives, if you would. It's not linear.
Yes.
Either.
This reminds me of an event that happened when I met my other half, Alejandro. Actually, we got together, and then the first day, he saw all the lights around me on the baseboard coming out of me, my entire field. He said he's never experienced anything like it. Would you say that when souls come together in a powerful way, that what is that light that makes something that is out of ordinary show up for people in such a powerful way?
It showed up because he needed to have something powerful to know that your coming together was more aligned and that he could trust that. And that you had this synergy, this energy together to support one another. And for him to see that affirmed to him very well that you were the one, yes? And you to him. There was no doubt, yes? And souls agree to that. It's not random. And in perfect soul time, you come together. You may ask.
Yes. Is this the new kind of wave of relationships that you see are coming through now? Sort of like the soul twins that are coming together for this new age of for humanity to give and bring gifts to others.
Yes. We like that terminology better than twin flame, soul twins. For that is more descriptive. Yes?
Yes.
And understand this, soul mates, you can have many of them. Souls incarnate together to support each other's growth, groups of them. Those are your soulmates. And they can be romantic partners, they can be siblings, they can be family members, addressing many roles in one's life. So if you meet someone and you have a reaction to them, positive or negative, you can be assured you've known them. And recognize how many tens of thousands of people you cross paths with in a lifetime. How many do you truly interact with or are attracted to? Very few. And remember that some of your soulmates are there purposefully to engage with you, and you have a soul contract to grow each other. So it may be challenging. For many have this romanticized viewpoint of soulmate being easy. At times it may not. For you're there to support each other's growth. As to your twin soul, as you speak of your spouse, your partner, that's different. It can be very much a romantic connectivity. You've had many lifetimes of that. Not always are you incarnate together. You could incarnate, but still supported by the other, if not embodied. Mm. That is a bit different than what we speak of as soul mate. So we call them families that are on the same vibrational frequency. You may ask.
Thank you. Many people wonder what is the best way to support their staying in alignment with their divine path. Can you please?
Intention. Again, the soul is there, speaks to you, directs you, draws onto you perfectly what's there to support your expanded growth. So trust that and embrace it. Again, life is happening through you and for you, and not to you in the sense of victimizing you. Those are only opportunities of growth. That's what challenge is. And the beliefs you create about yourself in challenge can be changed. The events don't change, they're your history. But your perception of the event can change as you look for the gifts and blessings, no matter how harsh it's been. Those challenges. There are many gifts from them. They've made you who you are today. And continue to grow you if you accept it as the awareness that it was to teach you, and you can move the belief from being victimized by that to an empowered thought. And that's changing the neural pathways in your brain. So then you begin to see that those repetitive patterns that you wish to change. You're no longer reactive to life emotionally. You can respond. It's different. And that's the integrated process.
Thank you for that. Another question about asking for help. So many of us who are aware that we have guides along our path at all times, whether it's our ancestors or beings from angelic realm. I know a lot of times I forget to ask, but my question is, when asking, is it showing that we're lacking something to the universe, or is asking, or maybe you can clarify that, because there's this, conversation that if you're asking the universe or asking your guides, it shows that you might be lacking something in your life and it's not going to align that for you. Can you clarify that, please?
That's not true. In the asking, it is given, but the openness to receive it is the greater lesson, isn't it? To know you're worthy of the ask. And there's legions of angelic beings, guides, support, waiting for you to ask. They're not going to usurp your free will. And they're there to support, again, your collaborative souls. Understand this, most of you give and enjoy giving. It feels good to you to give to others. Why would one deprive another from that good feeling? You're there to support each other. And so are the guides and angelic presence there to support you as well. The key is receiving it.
That's the hard one for most people, I would say. It's a big
It
one.
is. It is because of belief of undeservability. So again, going back to the integrated process and changing those beliefs of not being worthy.
Yes. Thank you. Last question. From Theos Perspective, what else can Alejandra and I do for to help support raising the human collective consciousness beyond what we're doing at the moment?
Do what you're doing and it will be ever expanding. And you will be directed soulfully and you're well guided. So we have not more to add, but to know you're on the right path and be steadfast.
Thank you so much.
You are complete with your asking.
Yes.
God's love unto you.
Thank you.
Good day.
You too.
Elena.
Hi, thank you so much for this experience.
Oh, it's my pleasure. You're welcome.
It touched me deeply. I have tears in my eyes.
Well, you can't talk to angels and not be affected.
Yes.
When Theo says the humans leak sometimes.
Amazing. There's so many nuggets of that not enoughness that we all have to learn to overcome in order to receive. I know for me, it's one of those biggest lessons in life too, because I just love to give. So receiving is something that I think it takes baby steps, but it's a great reminder for all of us. And to allow, and to remember to ask. That's the other thing, to remember to ask.
Yeah, and have gratitude. When something happens, just, be grateful.
Yes.
And keep asking. Every morning I wake up, I ask, okay, whatever I need help with today, please help.
You do. Okay, so you do ask on a daily basis.
It can be as simple as that, or if you have specific asks, but it's in intention, and Theo talks a lot about make an intention and then pay attention, because we have much energy working on our behalf. And it's magic, it makes life more magical when things like that start happening. You go, oh, there's magic happening. Let's keep this going.
Yes,
It can be
I love that Theo talked about how important the arts and creative essence is, because to me, that is one of the most important aspects. People ask us, like, how do you raise your vibrational frequency? And I always say that going and connecting to your childlike, curious essence of being inspired is the best way to really connect to that. And many human beings don't think of themselves as being creative, but it's a part that we don't recognize we have. Every one of us is a creator. So I love that Theo talked about that, because I think it's so important. I never thought of myself as being creative either, because I'm a scientist, and I had to really integrate that aspect into my understanding to really feel it.
Oh, yeah. Well, if you really think about it, Elena, science is an art.
Yes.
And creative.
Yes.
As well. But, we kind of pigeonhole, we put boundaries around these scientists. Teach, there's just like this container that you're in, and you're more than that. You're that, and it's not this or we're all of those things and more. We need to remember it.
Yes, and that's one of the beautiful things I think children bring to this world, is reminding adults how to really live. Yeah.
Yeah, that childlike quality, to remember that is so important.
Sheila, what a gift you are.
Oh, thank you.
For this
You.
experience.
You as well. We're all here doing our part, aren't we?
Yes. Yes. And I look forward to next week. Alejandro and I are going to be speaking with you and Marcus about your new book. So really excited.
Well, thank you for that invitation as well. And we're looking forward to being with both of you. Thank you for today. This has been really fun. I've enjoyed it.
Thank you so much.
Bye for now.